Hello, welcome. Welcome once again to another episode of Jammin' Dude's Neighborhood. I'm your host, Ben Jammin' Straley. My co-host, the Black Russian. Oh, good to see you all again. Hey, I was just kicking back and giving one final listen to the EP Memories in My Head by Riverside. It's weird. I hesitated on this one because I actually, when I was first researching this, somewhere along the line in the last few weeks, I pulled a brain fart because when I first did the research on this, I did realize at that time that Memories in My Head came before Shrine of New Generation Slaves, but somewhere along the line I had gotten mixed up in my head and thought it came out after. That's why this is coming out after. But in some ways I actually think it fits better as far as a growth process, because I do remember buying the digital version. A lot of you might remember that, and my memory might be faulty, but I'm pretty sure that this came out as digital only at first. The physical copies didn't come till later. And I did purchase the digital copies when it first came out, and I was kind of listening on my own burnt CDR in the car. And at first I wasn't really sure I was into it or not, and I saw a lot of people feedback the exact same way, that a lot more of what, I think I mentioned this on Shrine of New Generation Slaves. That's exactly why I think this fits better, is because the second disc of Shrine of New Generation Slaves, which is, what's it called? Night Sessions. It carries a lot more of that atmospheric thing, and I've heard that they're going for that a lot more in the new album, which I still haven't heard because I've been focusing all my research on a few other different new albums, as well as trying my best to focus on the albums as I go with Riverside. And I'm hearing a lot more of that slow building, drinking in the atmosphere. You know, when we start this album with the 10.5-minute Goodbye Sweet Innocence, and it's 2.5 minutes before you even get to your first note of music. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because when you get a chance to really kick back, you think about some great moments in prog rock history, like, the perfect example being Shine On You Crazy Diamond. How long do we even get to before we even get to the first 4 notes that send us all over the moon? And I really think Riverside was at a point where they were starting to explore this idea of just setting up a feel. And if this had been a full album, it might have been too much for me at the time. But because it was just a 3-song EP, it just kind of ended up in my car. And because it wasn't very long, I just had a chance to listen to these 3 songs a little bit more, and it was easier to digest than if this had been like a full 1-hour album. And the more it started to play in the background while I was driving, the more I was really picking out things that I really loved. The opening bass line of Goodbye Sweet Innocence, and the way that the song builds up and then ending up in Piot's grand climactic, you know the part I'm talking about. So, and then the way that then drops back down into this, again, more atmospheric. You get almost like the Gregorian chant choir in the background, and it almost feels like the music is beginning to breathe. It's like, oh, and then suddenly you feel like the whole room, if you allow yourself to dig into it, the whole room is almost breathing. And then you get into that dun 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 dun, and then you get Living in the Past comes in, which is absolutely my favorite of the 3 songs. Especially the Even Clowns Don't Scare Me Anymore. Oh, it just is so awesome. I I love the way that Living in the Past ends, and is certainly by far and away my favorite song of the whole album. And the whole middle section of, with the ending of Goodbye Sweet Innocence heading into all of Living in the Past, and then the way that Living in the Past ends and then slowly drops down into Forgotten Land. And Forgotten Land probably being, I mean, not meaning this, I was just listening to it and thinking how it's a perfect ending for the album, and it works so well as this 3-song EP, as this short little burst of, it's almost like a taste of, this is where we're headed. This is the next stage in our growth. And you just feel this happening, and it's so, even though Forgotten Land is my least favorite from the album, the more I started to digest this album, the more it became a jewel in the Riverside catalog for me. So, only 3 songs to talk about this time, but I'm telling you that if Memories in My Head did not grab you right away, I want you to try to go back and take this EP in a different atmosphere. Don't let it be something that you sit in front of your stereo and you're waiting for something to happen. Play it, you know, have some candles and stuff, and be doing something else. Just kind of, not anything that's going to distract you too much, but just kind of something where you're just kind of hanging out and you're doing your thing, and this album's just kind of playing in the background and the atmosphere is perfect. And I think you're going to find that you're going to get a whole new appreciation for this EP. So I really encourage you to revisit this EP if it didn't grab you right away, because I know a lot of Riverside fans said that they weren't too sure about it. Please go back and revisit this EP. This is actually a really amazing disc, and transitions perfectly, even though, like I said, I know it came before. It transitions perfectly, I think, on a musical level into next week's episode, which is going to be Love, Fear, and the Time Machine. And I'm probably going to be doing that midweek, because I know I'm falling behind, but I promise, I'm going to have the review of the new album out a week from Tuesday, which is coming up soon. So I really hope to see you guys keep coming back, and I'm going to be getting to the new Odd Logic, as well as the new Pain of Salvation in the near future too, after these Riverside reviews are done. Until then, please keep checking in with me, keep tuning in, and we will see you all next time on Jammin' Dude's Neighborhood.